Welcome to Truth in Lending, America's coolest, hippest mortgage and real estate news podcast. On today's episode, Katie is hopped up on Novocaine, which reminds us all that we become numb to this new market reality. I am Randy Vance alongside the fresh out of the dentist chair, Katie Pelcher, and our new resident fly on the wall, Greg Jackson.
Hello.
Woohoo.
Today is June 8th, 2023. This is Truth in Lending.
What a fun new intro.
Yeah. I mean, we're still in the Zoomtown studios.
Zoomtown Studios,
don't
still
get
in
that wrong.
Bend. Nothing's
Yeah.
changed there.
Yeah,
We're just switching things up a little bit.
a little bit. So, how you doing, Katie?
Yeah, definitely just got a filling, and I can't feel one side of my face. So we're gonna see how I can do with this.
What happens if you bite your? It's. I wish you could see this. And for those of you on YouTube, you will. But don't you always
definitely-
feel like your face is so much like fatter and your lip is gigantic when it's numb?
Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
It looks
I was
gigantic.
saying minimum monthly payments. That was a hard one. A lot of M's are hard.
It looks. It's pretty gigantic. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But you're feeling okay.
Feeling okay. Yeah,
All right.
kind of feeling okay. But speaking of just being numb,
Yeah.
I thought it was fun to pull up the adjectives, knowing I was going to be in this situation, or the descriptions of them.
Okay.
So numb is to be deprived of the power of sensation, or deprived of the feeling or responsiveness.
Oh.
And I just feel like in this mortgage industry, in this real estate industry, it's pretty accurate.
Just not surprised by much of anything anymore.
We're just deprived of the feeling of anything.
And there's quite a few that are just numbing out, that just don't want to feel the pain.
Yep.
It's been a
And-
lot of pain lately,
A lot of pain, or just a lot of nothing going on.
right?
But there's a lot going on. Yeah, I think it's been just reading all the news articles or getting all the information and the rate hikes and then rate improvements and then the debt ceiling or anything that comes up. It's like I get asked all these questions and I'm like, the rates are what they are.
Yeah.
This is where we are. I'm not going to entertain your, all your frustrations or feelings or anything else. And I just feel like I'm so numb to it. Whereas when we started this podcast, we were like, there's new information out. Let's talk about it. Let's touch on it. And now it's like,
I'm so tired of information.
there's new things happening. It's just been a wild year and a half.
So, I mean, yeah, numb to news articles, information, rate hikes, rate improvements. There's been far fewer rate improvements than rate hikes. But you wrote that on the script, so I'm going to read it.
There's days like today, for one, that we've seen rate improvements, right?
Yeah, I mean, ever so slightly.
Yeah. We've seen mortgage loan application volume has decreased for the fourth straight week in a row. Fourth straight.
I was waiting to be able to plug that one in there for you. It's okay. I love that we're going to make you talk as much as possible.
This
So you're
is
just
great.
going to work through all this numbness. What else? What else are we numb to?
National home prices is another I kind of touched on. I feel like everyone's been responsive of it going up too high, and then it's not coming, and then it's coming down, and it's just like I just feel like it is what it is, and as soon as a house comes on the market that entertains enough people, at least in our market, entertains enough people's wants and needs, there's multiple bids, and it's well over asking, and so it's just kind of this crazy. Like, you just can't predict anything anymore.
Can I tell you what I'm numb to?
Yeah.
The folks that I pre-qualified that say, we're just going to wait until home prices come down.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think now's the right time for us to buy.
Whereas
I've become
last year-
completely numb to that.
I was gonna say last year you'd freak out and you'd try to say, well, what are you talking about? No, let's talk about the rent versus buy and go through everything. And now it's like, okay,
Yeah.
talk to me when you want to.
Yeah.
Like I'm done with this, or I'm shopping with another lender and I want to go through 7 different scenarios. With
I'm
you to see
always
if it's
shopping
worth
with
it.
another lender.
And I just feel like we're numb to that. Like, okay, go ahead, let's see what we can do. Let's
You know what I'm numb to?
What?
Gas prices.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really numb to it because then, when my wallet really starts to feel the pain, but all this talk about gas and oil, OPEC just came out last week and said we're going to voluntarily cut, 1 million plus barrels per day through the end of the year, just because.
Yep.
Yeah, because we can. We're going to give everybody a break in the desert, which, hey, I get that. But, it's, I think as a society, sometimes we forget, like, okay, yeah, we're moving towards electric vehicles, yet we don't have a power grid to do that. I mean, we could just I could just absolutely get on my high horse on this one, but I'm not going to.
I was going to say the power grid.
Do you think the people in California paying $4.81 a gallon on average, do you think they're numb to the gas prices?
No, I know. And then I was just in Hawaii. It was $5.25 as like an average around the island.
Ouch.
That is disgusting. Yeah, it's I paid what did I pay this morning? $4.59.
Yeah, is that regular. Diesel?
No, that's
a year ago. You were complaining about the diesel.
Yeah, diesel was like $7 a gallon.
Jesus,
that's why I got rid of the diesel.
The market changed.
Yeah, you know what else
Randy
I'm really numb to? The debt ceiling.
Yep. What is that even?
They just signed it off and we forget about it,
right?
Did
anyone really think that the deal was not going to get done? I'm pretty sure the deal was going to get done. Yet I was kind of on pins and needles, and I know other people in our profession were on pins and needles, like, oh, is it going to get done? Mm-hmm. Part of me
hoped it wouldn't. Just to see what happens.
Sometimes I just like watching a good dumpster fire. Because I need something bigger, better, badder, right?
I know. I didn't research it. I didn't wait to see like what what's going to happen with that. To me, it was like, well, it'll happen or it won't.
I'm just so ADHD that, and maybe we are as Americans, waiting for the next headline because is there still a war going on in Ukraine? Not to diminish that, but I mean, nothing makes sense. I mean, we get numb to, God forbid, we get numb to mass shootings.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get numbed out and forget what's actually going on in life.
Realizing the feelings behind it or the urgency or stress of it all.
Yeah.
We're just inundated with so much news all day, every day.
Yeah.
Everything just flows through the feed.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, we're certainly numb to student loan payments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the entire country that said, oh, I don't have student loans right now.
Oh, right now, but you will.
They're in deferment. I don't have to pay that. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, those student loans are coming back.
Yeah, I had a coworker that had a client that said, oh, I don't have student loans anymore. They sold or they transferred, so they're forgiven. I don't have to worry about that. And it's just a really good reminder that all of your clients right now don't realize that eventually those will not be in deferment because it's been now so long.
Oh my gosh. What a great segue into Randy's room.
All right.
What a great segue into my room because we're going to talk about some student loans, but we're going to talk about cash out refinances. That's right. You can get a nice shiny cash out refinance for average rate today 6.9%. You buy some points down, spend a little bit more of that equity, and get 6.5%. All right, so I've got some examples for you, and I'm actually, there is some method to my madness here. So let's just take an example of $100,000 in student loan debts. Okay, at current rates. What the repayment rates are going to be. That's a minimum payment of $1,213 a month.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say that you've got a current mortgage at 3.5%, and you don't want to let go of it. Let's say you owe $400,000 on that. Your mortgage payment P&I is going to be right at $1,800 a month at 3.5%. Mm-hmm. Don't want to do that.
Don't want to get rid of that.
Don't want to get rid of that. No.
It's too good.
No, it's too good. But let's talk about cash flow. So if you were to do a cash out refinance to combine both your student loans and your current sexy mortgage interest rate at 3.5%, you're looking at a $3,160 a month payment, which is now $150 more a month to combine. So not a huge benefit there, right? Mm-hmm. But now let's talk about throwing in $25,000 of high interest credit. So like a credit card.
That is the ticket.
Right? So on a $25,000 credit card, and I use 19.99%, and I know that
That's
Some
great
credit
credit.
cards
Yeah.
are a lot higher than that. That payment, pardon me, on a $25,000 credit card is at $662. So now we do a new loan to cover everything, $535,000. So pay off the student loans, pay off that beautiful mortgage interest rate. Yeah. You're then looking at a payment of $33.81, and you're saving $295 a month. So now we're getting somewhere.
All right.
Right? So I read on The Motley Fool. If you've never read The Motley Fool, it's actually a really good place if you want to learn how to better manage your finances. Really some things that just, not really in the mainstream media. The Motley Fool is actually pretty cool. So
It's a subscription service too, yeah?
it is. It is. So Jack Caporal from The Motley Fool writes that the average household debt in America right now is somewhere around $90,000 to $100,000.
That's
right?
wild.
So I took all of the averages from his website: an average credit card balance of $9,600, average personal loans of $8,255, average auto loan debt of $22,612, average HELOC of $41,045. Those payments averaged $1,535 a month. Now you take and you add $100,000 to your mortgage, which was 3.5%. Now going somewhere towards 6.5%, you're saving $335 a month in cash flow. So with credit usage at an all-time high right now, and that student loan forgiveness that wasn't very forgiving, right? Those are getting ready to come back. People are going to start thinking about cash flow. So I would say loan officers and realtors alike, check your database. It's definitely going to be worth going through and having that conversation with folks. People are going to really want to hang on tight to those low interest mortgages.
No, I have a 3.5% interest. That's all I need.
I have 2.75. I'm dying with that mortgage.
Yeah, definitely debt consolidation is huge. And the auto loans right now, they are not sexy.
No.
And people buy cars more frequently than they buy houses.
It's really
The lip got me there.
it's really nice to see that you're completely numbed out. So there are definitely some possibilities that you can save. You can save monthly, and that's what people are going to be needing right now because inflation is still up there. Right? And as a society, most of us are living check to check. Right?
Yeah.
So that was the Randy's room.
Love it.
And what do we have now? You don't have a corner anymore.
No, I'm stepping in my kitchen. Katie's kitchen. It's always been Katie's corner with a K. And so we made a Katie's kitchen.
Well, let's get you back into the kitchen.
What's on the menu?
Yeah.
Have we said that yet? That's so good. I want to talk about marketing. I feel like everyone has been in this rut, of course, and a lot of people have, focused on those relationships with realtors or focused on sending the mass emails is what I want to say. Mailers.
Use your words.
Mailers is the word.
Right.
And so I feel like what I really wanted to focus on is just your marketing in conversation with people that you talk to. And I feel like the people who are ahead right now are just the people that I used the saying, polishing turds. You're just taking
so we're going to have a turd sandwich in your kitchen today. Thanks. I'm starving. Greg would like 2.
Instead of a tuna sandwich.
And we just lost another listener because you just said turd again.
But really, I feel like maybe you have something that you can offer that really isn't that great. It's not going to solve problems for most of the people. But when you can take that product and spin it, I would use the Rocket Mortgage or UWM's assistance right now.
Okay.
There's such a small bucket of people that's going to fit into. UWM's is capped at $4,000, which of a 2% assistance. So the amount of people that's really going to help is going to be so small. But you see this blast of all the marketing and information going out and talk to us about this down payment assistance program. And that's all that people are really listening to. I had someone else, Oregon just came out with a recent down payment assistance program as well, but it's got a near 8% interest rate with a lot of costs to it. And so it's not the best program that's out there. There's other options that are going to be a good one too.
I just locked a Chenoa FHA yesterday.
Yeah.
$230,000 loan amount. 7.25%,
Oh,
which
that's pretty
is
good.
not terrible considering where average rates are, right?
Yeah. And there's a lot of other programs like that. But when you're blasting it and you're saying that you have it, people will come to you just because you're saying you have it, and then they'll use a different program. And so if you're not taking the things that you have, another thing I put in here is like HomeBot is a great example, right? When you say, I have this amazing tool that allows you and your realtor partner to connect with your clients past closing, and you know, it's my tool. Like everyone has access to that tool, right? But it's really great when people hear it that way. And so it's just taking the information that you have and spinning it in a way in conversation that is making people more interested is just
Shine it up.
Make them think about you, make them call you, make them ask more questions. And so that's really my takeaway for the week.
Okay. You polished really, really well. really, really well.
Yeah, that's what you got to do in this.
I like your kitchen.
Thank
It
you.
smells great.
Oh God,
It tastes great.
turd sandwiches coming right up.
Yeah.
In a new segment that we like to call Greg's Garage.
Oh, welcome to the garage. Yeah. We just built it. Welcome for the first time.
We get to hear what Greg has to say.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining
Great.
us, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
all
What
right.
a great
Wow.
show. Take it away, Greg.
Yeah, Greg's Garage. You know, Randy's talking a lot about cash out refinances, and one of the big things that I think we're all hearing is I'm so stuck with my 2.5%, 3.5% rate.
Married to it.
Married to it, absolutely. You know, do you really think people are going to give that up when they start seeing those cash flow numbers? You know, I listened to an interview with Meredith Whitney. She was one of the first people to forecast the financial crisis. And I thought, so these are some interesting points. You know, estimate 2 to 5 years, maybe a 2 to 3% decrease in home values. You know, we're seeing so much equity right now, the highest equity in homes since before the 1990s.
Yeah. What did we see? What was it was 10% national average increase for equity in the past like 2 years or so.
Yeah.
So 2 to 3% decrease. I think that's, you know,
We
just
can
a-
absorb
just a
that.
reminder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not big. So I'm going to sit around and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to buy. I'm going to wait until prices go down.
Like that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, with an average LTV of 30%.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just so much equity in people's homes. You know, with the high debt that we're seeing, do we think that people are going to get out of that low interest rate and take on that high one?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to just education. And for realtors too, you know, Greg, you being in a realtor's shoes, you are a realtor, but you get to kind of wear that hat. And so I think those listing appointments that when people are like, yeah, I would really like to sell, but it doesn't make sense for me, you can be the first advocate to say, well, maybe it does. Like you should talk to a lender and look at your finances because that might get, you know, you the opportunity to list and help them buy. And we get the opportunity to just peek at their finances and see just how much that 3 or 2% interest rate is actually helping them. It might be hindering them.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think one podcast I listened to talked about equity as putting your money in prison because you're not letting it work for you. When you're paying down your home value so quickly or paying off that home loan, you're just throwing your money into prison and you're not actually getting any other benefits.
You know what I'm going to talk about maybe next week or the week after is doing a cash out refinance and leveraging that equity to buy more real estate.
I think it's a big one.
Yeah, because we didn't even cover that as you were.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
back
no.
to your garage.
Well, I was going to say I was really quiet when Randy was talking because I think this is a great point for people right now.
Yeah.
And I think if we could see some refinances up to higher rates, we could maybe get rid of that conversation, which would be great.
Yeah. But it takes educating and letting people know different ways that you can use it.
Yeah.
Definitely. And also just a couple other quick points that I thought were interesting. The average age of the first-time home buyer went from 31 to 36 since 1990.
Whoa.
That's a
So
big
I'm really
increase.
old. I bought my first house 7 years ago at the current average age. But I'll let you all do the math.
And then lowest
Oh my God,
household
you're
for
60?
You know what I'm going to do?
You were always going to use that.
I
button.
am. No, and I have this one too for you.
Oh, yes.
We were recording Katie at an inopportune time.
And don't know. I think
Okay,
it's
let's-
great.
I love
Like,
let you guys all do the math in your heads.
Yeah. And the last point I thought was interesting was lowest household formation in 150 years. Do you guys see that with applications? Do you see-
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. And I think that's something that we should continue to follow. Is there is a massive housing shortage across the nation. I read an article yesterday just here in our homey little state of Oregon, where we have a housing shortage of at least 110,000 units. Builders can't build that fast, especially with the costs of construction, things of that nature. I mean, there's a tremendous housing shortage. So yeah, I think we need to see things continue to build, and as things continue to build, prices are not going to go down.
Yeah, I feel like that conversation started like 2-3 years ago. Just the inventory shortage being
Yep.
what's driving prices, and everyone swept it under the rug because rates became the bigger conversation, and getting a low cost home just was making more sense. So it just
Right.
was craziness, and now you see it because inventory is sitting because people. It's just there's not as much out there, and as soon as one comes up, like I was saying earlier, there's just multiple offers and it's going way higher and prices are going up in those specifics. So
Good topics. Thanks for your
Oh,
participation.
Thank you.
love it.
Thank you.
Now, for your truth in lending mortgage news. Greg, you're going to help us, right?
Sure.
Read some headlines, and if you don't know what we're talking about, ask questions, and we'll teach you.
Great. I've got a lot of questions I can already
Great.
tell.
Great.
Home Ready AMI will update limits on June 10th, effective June 12th.
I'm so excited.
What does that mean?
So
What
the-
is AMI?
The area median income is what the new LLPA additions are based on. And so if that increase comes up, at least in our county or in the county that you're in, you're going to see a lot of more attractive first-time homebuyer options.
LLPA.
Yeah. Loan level price adjustment. All right.
Thank you.
Next headline.
Royal Bank of Australia and Bank of Canada both increased their benchmark rates, sending bond markets into panic selling.
That's right. Over the last couple of days, Bank of Australia and Canada both surprised our nation and surprised the bond market and said, we're going to go ahead and raise rates. Thanks.
Keep raising rates.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to raise the rates.
Gosh, that's a great.
Sorry.
That's really nice.
Sorry. We're going to raise the rates. Treasury Secretary Yellen. Why is she always yelling? Oh man, here come the messages. She thinks that there are going to be some issues with commercial real estate. What that exactly means, I don't know. Greg, have you heard anything in the real estate sector that commercial is going to start experiencing some pain?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm mostly on the residential side, but of course, I've definitely heard a lot about commercials just getting difficult now, especially with the interest rates. Money's getting more expensive. But we're seeing, residential investments also.
Do you know what Yellen also said yesterday?
What did she say?
She said she would not be surprised if there was more bank consolidation.
Consolidation.
That's a euphemism for failures.
And saving when people come in for the save.
Right.
Thanks, Chase.
Next headline.
Ooh. CNBC reports that the World Bank will see major economies growing at a much slower pace thanks to higher rates. Yeah, that was bad.
Start over. It also helps if the guy who wrote the news headline used proper English. I want a job at the World Bank. In case anyone's listening from the World Bank, which I highly doubt, where is the World Bank exactly? Is that where they have
How
their
many
hush
languages
meetings?
do you speak, Randy, besides bad Australian accents?
I speak English poorly. Already spoken about today in the show. Mortgage applications do fall for the fourth straight week. Not surprised there. Now that I think the West Coast is one of the last coasts to get out for school, a lot of rest of the nation is already out for summer. I think last day of school here in the fine state of Oregon is next
June
Friday.
16th, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Next Friday.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's next Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, that is next Friday. Man, that Novocaine. I tell you what, average rate is
freezing my
we
brain.
record this show on June 8th, 2023. 30-year fix sitting right around 6.9%. up from a few weeks ago, our last show when it was sitting right around 6.7%.
I think we timed these recordings well because we missed the time in between that it certainly would have been higher than that.
I know, right?
We don't have to talk about it.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, we have some new remembering who
Those
we've lost.
that we've
music.
lost. Wells Fargo has just continued to.
All you have to
make
say
cuts.
is Wells Fargo. Sorry, Wells Fargo. USAA cut 235 jobs from their central loan processing center. Sorry, USAA. Also, First Republic Bank, which was acquired by Chase about a month ago.
Thrown in the life raft.
They axed 1,000 jobs. So that jobs report came out today, and unemployment shocked everyone. They were expecting somewhere around 240,000 for the week, and it was over 262, I believe. So that's why we've seen bonds be a little bit green today.
Green is good.
Green is good.
See where rates are next week.
Yeah.
8%? Anybody? No. No, they surely won't go up that far.
We can only hope.
Yeah, thanks for
But if they
joining
do,
us today,
I'll just be
folks.
numb to the feeling.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be numb to an 8%.
I don't know, Greg.
I guess we'll see.
Frog in the boiling pot of water.
Yep.
Right? Just
It is what it
slowly
is.
turn it up. My parents constantly remind me that their first interest rate was in the double digits back in the
Oh,
80s.
That's a
They got an
sweet
FHA loan at some like 13%, and they were stoked. Tickled pink.
tickled pink. Huh?
Tickled pink.
I would love to avoid that.
Stay classy, potato heads. This has been Truth in Lending.